Our first storyteller is Jim Shelby. Let me get my notes. And Jim is one of those personal heroes I mentioned because for years I've been going to the plays at Gunn High School where he's been the theater director for 30 years. And I've been witnessing the magic that he does with kids. I had two neighbors on my block on Emerson Street that were as shy as you can imagine. And after 4 years of theater with Jim, they were confident, poised, amazing, expressive kids. So I love the magic of those shows. And today he's going to talk about a very special immigrant, right about as close into his life as you can get. So Jim, here you go. And if you want your water.
I'm okay. Well, okay.
Okay.
Once again, I want to say thank you to Elliot for creating such a wonderful community of sharers and artists and technicians. And when Elliot asked me if I would share my story of immigration, I was a little nonplussed. I'm not an immigrant, although we all are in America, perhaps, in our families. And my people come from Ireland and from England and Germany, and I'm one of those mongrels, and a happy and proud one, but we've been here forever, it seems like, although that's a relative term, as we'll talk about. And then he said, no, your wife. And my wife, I see. And my wife is Lorenza, and she's been here for 14 years. And in the year 2000, I had a sabbatical when Palo Alto Unified School District still gave sabbaticals. And I went to Paris for 6 months to study clowning and vocal work and different forms of theater, because that's what I do at Gunn High School. I try and bring that out of my young ones. And very first day of French class at the Alliance Française on Boulevard Raspail. If you've been there, it's a great place to go study French. Across the table, there were 20 people from all over the world, and across the table, there was a dark-eyed spirit named Lorenza, and we were both in niveau 1, or 1, I guess it was really 0 of French. And a group of us went out for coffee, and we started this little coffee clutch, and we kept going out for coffee, and the group kept getting smaller and smaller till it was just Lorenza and me. And French stopped being the reason we would get together. And a little bit after that, we were deciding where we would be living, in Bologna, Italy, or in Palo Alto, California. And it has never been easy. And it's never been boring, but we decided to live here in California. And we have now a 7-year-old, and she's got 1 foot in this country and 1 foot in that country. And immigrants and people who travel know that when you're here, you're not there. And when you're there, you're not here. And that is a riddle that will never get solved. And it's a richness and a little pain in the heart for travelers. Lorenza's journey was not one of peril or escape to this country, and I know we'll be talking about some immigrants and stories of immigration. Hers and ours was a journey of the heart, and to let go of your people and your language and your culture and your food and go somewhere new for the sake of being with someone you love. And it is a joyous one, but never a simple one. When Lorenza came in 2000, I picked her up at the airport, and we went down to watch a friend of mine play in a little fiddle group, and we were going down in Cupertino on Stevens Creek Boulevard, and you know, it's car dealership after car dealership after furniture after car dealership, and it gets a little crazy, and you drive there in the stops, and I looked over and said, "So what do you think?" And her eyes were wide open, and she said, "California is so beautiful and so clean," and everything was clearly, she had a big old thick pair of rose-colored and love-colored glasses, and now you should hear her talk about Stevens Creek Boulevard, but that's another story. It was remarkable. We keep going back to that. I was there too, but she can't believe that that's what she said about Stevens Creek and the depth and the heart of that in the afternoon. It was like, that's wonderful. A few weeks after that, We went to the sing-along Sound of Music at the Castro Theater in San Francisco, and I was dressed as a nun, of course, and everybody shows up dressed as some character from the film, and then follows the subtitles and sings these wonderful songs. She had never seen or heard of the film, and imagine that, and looking at me and other really robust men dressed as nuns and all kinds of people and with large mountains on the front of their dirndls saying the hills are alive and like that, and it got more raunchy from then. And she was wondering, what planet have I landed on? Where am I? And that question, and I'm part of that, the answer daily as we come in that. Part of my wonderfully, and I'm very fond of being an American and a naive American. I was taking her around Stanford University, and we're looking at the wonderful old sandstone buildings, and I literally said, and some of these buildings are more than 100 years old. This is to a woman from Italy, right? And she looked at me, and she just smiled and had a look, and later on we discussed that question. But it is like, we have a sense of things. As I said, time is relative, and here things are very quick, and I was born right across the street, and things are, the past has a different meaning to us here in California, I think, than to someone who comes from Bologna, the oldest university in Europe. She will tell you again and again, or any Bolognese will tell you that. When I see people in Italy arguing back and forth, I say, why are they arguing, honey? He said, they're not arguing, they're talking. Or, honey, why are you raising your voice at me? I'm not raising my voice, I'm communicating with you. So the cultural differences are a beautiful thing. We happen again and again, and Lorenza's and my daughter, Sarah, we bring volume and temperament into the picture at every moment. The service in America is remarkable, and it is not a global phenomenon. So you walk into a Safeway or a Macy's or a Starbucks or the Gap. Hi, how are you doing today? And to watch Lorenza early on in her day, she would, do I know you? Is that, no, that's service. And can I help you find anything today? Would you like to find over here? Here's where the sugar is. Can I show you? Have a nice day. Have a nice day. This is not normal. Everywhere in the world, it is absolutely normal here. And now to watch my wife, when she doesn't get that service, she will expect it. And it's wonderful. Also, as you cross in a crosswalk in our beautifully polite society, people will wait, stop, cross, and go. Well now, and that's the law in Italia as well, but they don't obey that law. And so she will stand in the middle and start gesticulating to the Italians that are arriving through. And she's like an angry Californian when she's in Italy. It's really fun to watch. When she became a citizen, it took many years and many visas and all kinds of different flavors, and that's a long, long story, but we won't go there now. We had her citizenship party in this very studio, and thanks to you all, and we had in a professional square dancer and all of her friends and lots of different posters and murals. My favorite was her as the Statue of Liberty, and holding a rolling pin above her head, which brings up food. Food is an enormous part of the culture in Italy, and she will still roll her eyes at the puritanical and sort of psychotic relationship Americans have with food and their gluten and their sugar and their fat. And every time she goes back, they will ask her, so what is the enemy this year in California? And they are very much food-loving, pleasure-loving people. And I'm just saying that as a what's the word? Generality. But it's simply true. And so I'm learning daily how to let go of my American Puritanism. It's such an interesting combination. People have seen my change. When I go out of the house these days, I have to check with my style consultant. People who know me from the past would never think that I would have a curly Q bookshelf on the wall by Cartel Design. every summer we're able to take our daughter to Italy to experience overindulgent grandparents, and also the Italian beach scene, which is not what we see on the Riviera, but it's just thousands of chaise lounges in very neat rows for miles on the east coast of the Italian boot, and every morning at 8 o'clock, each beach owner will be out there raking up cigarette butts, and it'll be just pristine and clear and very, very organized. And the beaches, very different from here. Last night, in a very nice Italian restaurant in Napa Valley, our waiter made the unfortunate mistake of offering to Lorenza a cappuccino after dinner. Cappuccino is what you have in the morning time. You have espresso after dinner, and she let him know it, and he was a little bit shocked. And he will not forget that. What I want to say, though, is that Lorenza's choice to leave her world and follow her heart is something rather radical in Italia. And when she asks her friends, what do you think of my choice, they don't understand it, because the pursuit of happiness and freedom is not simply a motto in this country. It is our instinct, and it is part of our history, and it is part of our culture that is very different from Italy, where you hold on to your pension, you hold on to your job, you hold on to your identity. That's who you are. And when she said no to that and it became part of my life currently here, I realize every day what a difference it means, what a difference it makes to go to engage in self-invention and self-reimagination, which is a very American phenomenon, and that is the gift Lorenza has given to me, and on my best days, I don't take that freedom for granted. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you, everybody.